stretch. Here we go, back in the room.
In the big room, in the huge
big room.
universe sized.
Exactly, not in the green room. We're in the green room before. We're in the like proper live where things happen room now.
Yep. And we're going to be talking about ADHD and the cosmos.
The cosmos.
So let's crack on.
Those who've not, this is the first episode you've ever listened to of our podcast. You think, oh, what cosmos and ADHD? Are you guys crazy? We'll explain it. We'll explain it after the intro.
Let's get
It's
into
all
it. So
explainable.
Let's go to the place where the distractions are landmarks and the detours are the main roads. Welcome to ADHDville.
Yay! Meet the gang, cause the boys are here. Boys to entertain, 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 boys to entertain you. Yes, we are.
Nice.
Boys.
ADHD.
Okay. Yes. Hello, I'm Paul Thompson. Yes, I am. And I was diagnosed with the combined ADH and the D crawling towards a couple of yonks ago.
And I'm Martin West, and I was diagnosed with a combined ADHD poo-poo platter 12 cycles of the sun ago.
Oh, right.
Let's see. Look. See what I did there?
We're already into it. Is that what they call a kind of what's it called?
A year
in radio talk? No, when you connect subjects.
Oh yeah, a thing
that leads one thing leads into another. Segue. It's a segue.
It's a segue.
Downward professional.
Into our subject.
Yeah, ADHD and the cosmos, right? So you could be thinking, guys, what are you doing? What are you doing talking about ADHD and the cosmos? Aren't you supposed to be talking about other stuff that all the other podcasts talk about? Well, we're not like other podcasts.
We're not even a podcast.
No, exactly.
That's how much of a...
There is a link, actually, because being neurodiverse gives us sometimes, not always, there's no 100%, there's no like, this is this and this is black and this is white. But neurodiverse people are particularly well adapted to contemplate subjects like the cosmos.
Big things.
Infinite mystery.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, I think let us jump into our tractor.
Yes.
And we are going to... where are we going today, Paulio?
We are going, Martin, I'm just looking at the sheet. We go to the library, Martin, the library.
Right.
I suppose the cosmos section of the library.
The cosmos section of the library.
Yeah.
Let's jump in, and we'll put on our space helmets and our space suits, and let's take off to the library. Where all the books are, obviously.
Yes.
We have to be a bit quiet, though.
And where interesting people hang out.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, where do you want to start? Because you and I, right? You and I we don't conflab about what we're going to... other than the title, we have no idea. I've got no idea where you're going to approach this big subject from. So I'm
going to approach it from, just things that blow my mind, Martin, blow my mind. Like especially the thing that most blows my mind and the things that the most mysterious part, and also like the really most difficult part intellectually is the infinite aspect of the universe.
Ooh, it's big.
Right? It's infinite. We're just our Milky Way, where we are, with the one that we're traveling along with,
yes,
it's just like one of potentially billions of other universes.
Oh,
Right?
universes.
No, not universes. One of other systems.
All right.
Right? We're just
Yeah.
one, like going through. By the way, this is what blows my mind. Speed, right? Let's do a thing on speed. We are currently traveling as we speak, right?
Right.
Rotating. The world is rotating, but planet Earth is rotating at 1,670 kilometers per hour. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or for American and English people, just over 1,000 miles an hour, rotating, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we are rotating around the sun, orbiting around the sun at 66,000 miles per hour. Okay.
Okay.
Then
Right.
the solar system orbits around the Milky Way at 828,000 kilometers, 540 miles an hour. Then all of that combined travels through the universe at 1.3 million miles an hour.
Blimey.
I mean, that's staggering.
Yeah.
And so in my stupid mind, I thought, okay, so how long would it take if I was to walk back to the same place I was 24 hours ago, okay, in the universe, right? And I worked it out.
Oh, you
right?
did? You did?
Yeah.
You did math?
I did maths. If I was to walk back to the same point as I was 24 hours ago in the universe at a speed of about 5 kilometers per hour walking pace, right?
So a fairly consistent, brisk
a good
walk.
pace. A brisk pace.
All right.
It would take me 59 years.
Oh, okay. All right. Blimey.
Yeah.
That's almost like my entire life.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
A lifetime to get back.
A lifetime to walk back to where you were 24 hours ago.
Yeah. Anyone who is good at math, feel free to check Paul's sums.
Yes.
But yeah, that's okay. Well, that's. I was actually thinking. Actually, you know what? I was going to ask the question, which is, what is your favorite thing in the universe?
Yeah. Well, it's not. My thing is not of the universe. It's not a favorite thing in the universe. It's of the universe. It's that thing that I was just talking about. These just things I can't wrap my head around.
The size and the scale of it.
There are very few people that I've come across that are good at expressing the enormity of it, And for me, it's the best one is Professor Brian Cox. He's brilliant. I like talking about it in a really entertaining way, and in a way that normal people like me and you can like grasp.
Yes.
But even then, it's like, what? And one question opens up another all the time, and that's the thing. It's not. So that's the thing that I like most about the universe. What about you, Mr. West? What floats your boat?
Before we get on to me, I did ask this question from Alexandra out of the ADHDville
Official
mayor.
town crier.
Sorry, not mayor. And she said time and space was her favorite thing about the whole thing. So time and space is obviously very interesting. It's all aspects of the same thing, as we know. Time and space are like two sides of the same thing. So that's
that's also interesting. Like there's people now say, well, because it is time. It's just an artificial way of measuring our existence, right?
Right.
But it's meaningless.
I mean,
at the same
time
time.
happens.
Yeah.
It's just we our time is very local time to us.
Yeah.
And
But I suppose we have to have these things, don't we? Because I think most people, yeah.
And it's not, well, I think what you're saying is that it's not standard. Like time is not standard, actually. It's pretty fluid.
Yeah.
It just happens to be that we think about time as being standard, but it's only standard for us.
I think we need something as humans. We have an instinct. Most of us need something we could grasp hold of, that you can hang your hat on. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
And I think even things like, stay with me here. It's just my theory.
Oh, blimey.
I think that this is where religion comes in, because people need something to believe in that isn't like, oh, we're just a tiny speck within a speck within a speck. And we're kind of like, and people look for something like, really? I think there should be a meaning to life, that I'm on this planet, on this earth for a reason. No. Do you know what I mean?
No.
There's an instinct to be rooted somehow, but I think it's fake. I think it's nonsense.
What
there's no rooting. There's no meaning to life.
Oh, right, yeah. I see what you mean. But yes, us as early humans would be sitting there and around our, staring up into the cosmos and looking at the little white dots, going, "What the hell is that?" And what is going on? And how can I? Does that have any relationship to me and my world?
Yeah.
And then you start with stories, which I will come on to stories in a minute. But
okay.
My favorite thing has to be black holes still.
Yes.
Because they're just so weird and so fundamental. And if we crack those, and then we basically crack the entire universe.
They are weird, and theories about black holes, they change constantly, don't they?
Right.
To the point where they think that Stephen Hawking's theory about black holes have already been they're already out of date.
Probably.
His was just the first theory, right? Which is already amazing to contemplate and have that imagination, right?
I think Einstein was the first to, they came out of, black holes came out of Einstein's theory of relativity. So he gets to kind of claim them first, I guess. So my angle on this, because it's a big subject, was like, well, how do I get this into ADHD? How do I make this an ADHD thing rather than just like,
I'll hold your
pulsars.
Jacket. Do it, mate. Right. I'll hold your jacket. You just do your thing.
Right, which is around the cosmos, and I think of stories, and I think of ADHD. So, and what we are good at is noticing patterns. We are. You can look at the sky, and you can see all the stars, and we are quite creative people. So we could, as an ADHD, we could link stars up together and form shapes and people and gods and then if we're autistic, as we could want to kind of like look for order in this kind of chaos. So you can imagine an autistic mind would then watch the stars and see how they change over an entire year, and the sun and the moon and the phases, and you could almost like build a calendar out of it. So I kind of think that kind of neurodivergent thinking seems to fit with that kind of like trying to make sense out of what we see above us. And then you kind of get to this stories thing, which is like, as ADHDs, we like stories, and we can be very good at stories. We are very entertaining people, right? So we like to entertain. So the idea of like seeing shapes in the stars and then telling stories about what they are, and so you've got
kind
like
of fluid kind of thinking, isn't it? I suppose.
Right. So you can have a bunch. So you can have an ADHD, for example, telling stories around a fire about what's going on up there. And if you do have ADHD and you're very entertaining, it means that that story will stick in someone's mind, and then they'll tell the story to their kids, and then their kids will tell the story, and so it goes down and down and down through generations. So I kind of feel like, as an ADHD or as an autistic person, those people would have had, in my head, would have had a big role in kind of in looking at that without any science, but just the kind of
I mean, there are plenty of scientists out there, but I think probably the difference. I mean, it's just my idea, my take on it. The difference between Stephen Hawking and other scientists is imagination. You know, they're able to do, okay, that's the science, but what if, you know, or even taking the ego out and thinking, okay, I might be wrong, right? And that's a great way to start from, I think, that's finding with new thinking. I could be wrong, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what science starts out as. It's like it's not trying to. It tries to take the ego out as much as you can and measure of everything. You know, there's I mean, you've probably seen it. There's a nice Ricky Gervais little thing that he does where he says, if you took the Bible and all of the religious books in the world and just kind of got rid of them all, and all the science books, and you got rid of all those as well, in 500 or 1,000 years, you will have science books that are almost exactly the same as the ones that we have now, right? Whereas the religion books would all be very different.
Yeah, totally. I think within the scientist community, and they're famous. They're like historians. They bicker and fight like crazy about their theories. But I think probably the like I kind of referred to before, that people like Stephen Hawkins would like rise above it, you know, like, and just go, look, you could talk about it, or you could fight about it as much as you like, but I'm just gonna like carry on coming up with new theories, you know. There's a lot of egos around, you know, in that world, you know. They want to come up with the best new idea.
Yeah,
but it's fascinating. Do you ever think, on a personal level, could you ever contemplate yourself going into if you could start your studying and your career anew? Okay, could you envisage see yourself getting into some kind of scientific area?
No.
I
took loads of science at school. I took biology, human biology. I took physics. I did some chemistry. And I liked geology especially.
Okay.
So I could have, if there was any other science I would have gone down, it would have been like the earth sciences. Not that there's much of a career there, but if you unless you work for the oil companies,
right.
But no. What about you?
I could happily get into psychology in some way.
Right.
Yeah. I've always been utterly gripped and fascinated by it. Yeah, I could get into that, but maybe specialists, maybe like criminal psychology or something like that. I could. I love that kind of thing. But yeah.
Crazy.
But I remember you once a slightly different subject. I remember once we had a discussion, you and I, many years ago. I had tried to start. I tried to read the book by Stephen Hawkins.
All right, A Matter of Time. Is it? Is it called something like that?
Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah, it was his big. It was his big.
It's like a tiny little book. You know, he explains, complex things, and I never understood it. But you said you had read it and you did understand it. So I think you and I have slightly different brains on that level, on that kind of thing.
Well, you know what? It's funny because if you've got a neurodivergent mind, like the cosmos and quantum mechanics and black hole and time and space, they're all like fascinating subjects to kind of just go down and try and wrap your head around. Especially quantum mechanics. It's just so weird and counterintuitive that we love that kind of thing.
I'm fascinated by it, but I get to a certain point and I find it really difficult at a certain point of when it gets to a certain level of complexity. Yeah. So the book's called A Brief History of Time.
Oh, there we go.
By Stephen Hawkins. Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Well, this was. I'm talking about the Paul of like 30 years ago. So maybe if I try to read it now, I'd be less self-judgment, and I could read it and understand it more.
Yeah.
Be interesting to try.
With all of that, it's like you'll read it and you'll hit a thing. You go, I don't understand this, and then you'll kind of go, well, I don't understand this whole book, and then you'll just kind of like put it aside and you'll stop. Whereas actually, sometimes I'll just skip. I'll just read it and know that I don't understand it and carry on. And then as I read the book, I go, oh, okay. I get the thing that I didn't understand 100 pages back. I've got it now. So it's always worth kicking out, going back to. Now, I had an interesting chat with Alexandra, our official ADHD town crier, about the word cosmos, because it's Greek, right? And she's Greek, so she's the expert on all these things as far as we're concerned. And she says that it actually means a lot of things. It can also mean order as opposed to chaos. And she says that it's also used for a group of people as well. So she says if we want to ask if there were many people in a place, we ask, did it have a cosmos? I.e., like was there this kind of structure, this kind of unit,
exactly,
this grouping,
which goes back to that human instinct again. Is to the instinct to like tie it down and define its confines. It's a bit like in a simplistic way. You say, "Oh, how big is your garden? How big is I don't know, Buckingham Palace? Oh, it's the size of 4 football pitches." You're like, what? As if that matters.
Right?
As if you could then go, "Oh, okay, it's the size of 4 football pitches." Okay, but the universe, it like laughs in your face at all of those kind of attempts at measurement, or confining it.
Yeah.
So cosmos, what does it mean? Ed? Cosmos means
it does mean, it can mean the it can mean the universe, or it can mean there we go, blah 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 blah. Yeah, but it also means lots of things. So it can also mean order, as opposed to chaos. It can it is so and also seems to be like a kind of a group, of a group of lots of things will be a cosmos. So a cosmos of students, or you know.
I always think it must be a great thing to be Greek, because you can always, like, if you're contemplating the origins of things, especially language and culture, and even the culture of politics and sport and stuff, the Greeks, they can pull out their Greek card and say, that was us. That was us.
I mean, they say all roads lead to Rome, but actually they just go to Rome and then they go to Greece.
Exactly. I was listening to a podcast yesterday. Actually, Rome, the Roman Empire, were deeply jealous and envious of the Greek culture, and they tried to replicate it and copy it. But in the end, a lot of their iconography and ritual beliefs, ritual habits come from the Greeks.
Right. I remember sitting in art college. Maybe you were in the same group. I don't know. And the lecturer said, he said, Rome captured Greece, but Greece captured Rome.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
And the Roman Empire, they admired enormously, and they were actually resentful. It bordered on resentment towards the Greeks. So, like, they couldn't come up with anything as good as the Greeks did. By the way, a great book talking about storytelling. Stephen Fry has written some amazing books about Greek mythology. He's so good at, like, the storytelling of Greek mythology and making it, really, really engaging and entertaining. Yeah.
And then just to try and bring us back onto fucking subject, yes. a lot of our stars, the stars are all Greek gods, right? So there's Greek gods up there, there's Roman gods up there.
Have you heard it said that there's as many stars in the cosmos as there are grains of sand on planet Earth?
Something like that.
It's just
something like that.
Unbelievable numbers,
All right. So, have you got anything else that you want to shove in?
I think I have. Hang on a second. Oh, have I lost my tab? Oh, blimey. I think I lost my tab. I've lost my tab. Ooh, Jesus.
Disaster.
Hang on in there. There was something, a very brief thing. Oh yes, I remember what it is. I don't need to get that document up. I've always been fascinated by infinity, right? So you think of a funnel, and you think of infinity, it just like goes wherever it goes. But there's actually infinity in the opposite end of that scale. If you can always split an atom, you can always split it. So there's actually, I find really fascinating, is there's infinity in the opposite end, right? And they've actually stopped trying to. In the 1970s, we were quite obsessed with, let's split the atom, and they gave it a name. They called it a quark. After that, after the 70s, they stopped actually doing that because you can't. There's a strange phenomenon with it that's got a name, and they can't actually see it anymore for some reason when you do split it beyond a quark. Now they just work on how they behave. How they behave when they play with splitting the atoms and the energy that creates.
All right.
Of splitting. Yeah.
All right.
So I found out, blimey, that's
would it surprise you, stuff. Mr. Thompson, that some infinities are bigger than other infinities?
Explain.
Not all infinities are the same. Yeah. There isn't one infinity.
Right, yes.
There are many infinities, and some, mathematically, I do not understand it because I don't have that brain, but some infinities are bigger than other infinities.
Right. Blimey.
There we go. I'll just leave that with you.
Okay.
I'll leave that in your head to kind of go, what the hell?
How did Terry Pratchett try and he imagined the planet as if it was a tiny speck of dust on the leg of a dining room chair or something? It was something like that.
I don't know. I mean, his thing is that the world is flat and we are on the back of a giant turtle.
Yes.
Oh no, we are on a giant disc that stands on 4 elephants that stands on the back of a large turtle.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Chat about Pratchett there. Okay.
All right.
I think that's all I've got pretty much. Have you got anything else, Mr. West?
No, I think I've talked enough about that. So now we get to the ratings.
Yes.
Where Paul and I rate the cosmos as far as ADHD goes. All right. So let's go to the ratings.
Yes.
Is it a dopamine hit or is it a banjo thing? There we go.
Thank you so much, Martin. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that as my birthday present because it's my birthday on Monday.
Is it?
I'm taking that as a birthday present. Thank you.
Happy birthday. Happy banjo.
The banjo always lifts me up. It makes me feel good. Love a banjo.
Right, so we're going to rate it with either a dopamine hit score 0 to 10 and a burnout score 0 to 10. So should we
go first? You go first, Martin. Dopamine.
I will.
Yeah.
I think I get a lot of dopamine out of like reading sciencey space and time and shit. So I would rate that. It isn't a huge high, but it's pretty good. So I would give it like an 8 out of 10.
Right. Yeah.
On that.
Okay. I'm the same. You? I'd give it about an 8 out of 10 because it's up there, but I'm lacking that kind of like finishing it off kind of dopamine hit. It like leaves everything open, and you're like,
right.
that finishing part of the exploration discovery.
There are too many unanswered questions for you.
Exactly. Too many ifs.
All right.
And buts.
And then on the burnout score, I'm thinking when you like reading books, right? From
yes.
it can be quite taxing on the brain.
Yeah.
But not a huge amount. So it isn't like it's not. I mean, it's still a fun taxing of the brain. You know what I mean? So I would give it quite a low burnout score. I would say it's like, I don't know, maybe 2 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. I think a 2 or a 3. I think when I was younger, I would have given it much more burnout because I used to, if I couldn't understand stuff, I used to like, I used to like feel like an idiot. Now it's just like, I care a lot less about that, and I'm a bit more open-minded to like, okay, I just think differently. So yeah, 2 or 3. Yeah.
All right. So there we go. It is much more ADHD friendly and fun.
We gave it a score, a rating.
Yeah. All right. So I think
so
that just leads
us to the post office, Martin.
Let's go to the post office. Post haste.
In the tractor. We're taking the tractor.
Yeah. Let's jump in. Let's go.
Let's crank her up.
That's suspension.
Jesus. That's suspension. Yeah. Plays havoc on my hemorrhoids. Anyway, enough of that. Your feedback, whether it's about my hemorrhoids or not, is vital to us. We read all of your comments. Yes, we do. And we might read out yours on a future podcast, like this one, Martin, from Alexandra in Greece.
Right. She says, so we were talking about, what were we talking about last week? Anyway.
Vacations.
All right, yeah, and kind of got onto the subject of ADHD and weddings could be a nice topic. She suggests. So I'm thinking,
because it's also summer based, isn't it? Seasonal.
It is. It's very timely. So I think next week we will do ADHD and weddings. So if you've got any comments, dear listener, if you've got any thoughts about whether you like weddings, whether you hate them, whether you like being a guest, or whether you actually like being the bride or groom,
or the best man,
all the challenges and the fun and the horror that are weddings.
Or
so
the DJ. Oh my God, the DJ. Yeah. Okay.
And she also says, as we've changed the format slightly, because we're going to do themes, like, so it's going to be ADHD and Cosmos, ADHD and weddings, blah blah blah.
Yes.
She said, I enjoy way too much these themes, guys. Excellent idea. So
yes,
she's on board.
Chest bumps all around.
Fist bumps. So we shall carry on with this theme. All right. So
chest bumps also, because I don't like high fives. I don't like high fives.
Right.
Chest bumps better.
High fives are a difficult thing.
Oh God. Yeah.
I know, right? Anyway, ADHDville is delivered fresh every Tuesday to all purveyors of fine podcasts. Please subscribe to the pod and rate us most cosmic. And feel free to correspond at will in the comments. But wait, there's more. If you want to see more of our beautiful faces, then sally forth to the YouTubes and the TikToks. And you can also pick up a quill and email us at ADHDville@gmail.com. But in the meantime, be fucking kind to yourself.
And I beseech you, fellow ADHDers, fare thee well with gladness of heart.
Where's the thing that says...
There, says the mayor.
Oh, look at that.
That's that.
Brilliant timing.